Welcome to 25 Days of Britmas. Let's get on with the video.
Hi guys, welcome back to another day of Britmas. Today I am here to talk about my top reads of 2020. Again, let me reiterate, I only read a whopping, 38 books this year. My pickings were very slim. This is the least amount of books I've read in a very long time, and we just gonna chop that up to 2020. But today I'm going to be talking about the books that I really enjoyed reading. As usual, these are books that I read. These are my opinions. You are free to have your own. If you choose to disagree with me and come at me in the comments, come correct, because I'm not like these other booktubers. I will not only respond, but I will also blast you on Twitter and everything else, because if you felt that confident to come at me, then you're going to get come at back, you know? So today we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 wonderful videos or wonderful books to talk about. And I'm going to go in order of, I think this is actually the reverse order in how I read them. So let's go the other direction. So the first book that I want to talk about is Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you guys have been interacting with my channel for 2020, then you know that book really helped me shift some of my thinking. It's why, like, the idea of me doing a vision board party that I was planning on doing a Zoom vision board party where, like, I offer free downloadable items and stuff like that for you to participate in. This was going to be a paid event, but I decided against doing that. And my reason is I decided I wanted to put more effort into habit systems and stuff. So in January, we're really going to deep dive into my review of my habits from this year and the ways that I'm trying to implement the things that I learned from 2020 into 2021. Obviously, that is a series for January. But that book really helped inspire and really helped change the way that I was thinking about it. Sorry, this wig and this hat aren't doing it like I thought. But yeah, that book was really, really good. Another book that was on my list for was this 2020? I honestly don't remember if I read this book in 2020. It's on my list, so I must have. So yeah, I actually did read this book in 2020. This is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. This book focuses on a group of girls who are on the run because they have been working at basically a prostitute house, and something happens to one of the girls and the other girls flee with her to protect her, because this life of servitude is not a life that they actually asked for. It's a life that they were forced into based on their upbringing. And I feel like this story, in my personal opinion, I think I've said this before this year, this story was truly slept on. I felt like a lot of booktube missed out on a very amazing story. And there is a sequel to this, which I did not know this was a series. And still I started looking up 2021 releases for more videos. And there is a sequel to this book now. So I am very excited. I really, really enjoyed this book. There is some LGBTQ representation. There is a lot of sister conversation in this, which y'all know that's one of my favorite types of love, that sister love. There are friendship love. There's trauma and how it translates into everyone else. So I will say that if you're looking based on trigger warnings, these are young girls that were forced into the Sunshine House, which is a prostitute house. So they do actually have to cope with what that actually means. So just keep that in mind. If you are looking for trigger warnings, I'm sure you can look it up specifically online. But I still really enjoyed this book. So again, I'm still recommending, if you haven't read it, go ahead and check this book out. Another book that I read this year when I was attempting to read a little bit more romance this year in my life is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. Y'all never actually got a chance to see that romance vlog, because I did try to record a romance vlog. I genuinely tried, but it was just too bad for me. This book was beautiful. It is focused on these two girls who well, let me break it's two different girls. So there's one girl, she is Trini, I think. She is forced to go move in with her father because her mother found her with a girl. So she moves with her father, who introduces her to another girl in her family. And there's just so much good in this book. There are beautiful representations of Black fathers, beautiful representation of Black families, Black friendships, Black relationships. And they're healthy, and they're not all just gangbangers and stuff like everybody thinks that it is. Like, everybody's daddy is very present in this book. And I stand, like, her relationship between her and her daddy made me cry. But needless to say, there is an unfortunate circumstance where one of them gets sick, and that's where the story takes off. And I actually believed their relationship very nicely, because it wasn't something that I felt went 0 to 100. It was a gradual burn, and so it made it easier for me to read the book. Plus, their romance wasn't exactly the focal point of this story. I just felt like it was a cute teenage love affair type thing. So yeah, another book that I don't think I can state enough how much of a joy it was to read that book. And I think I've already said this before in another video, but just in case we need another reiteration, this is where it's at. Another book that I obviously very much enjoyed reading this year was Night of the Dragon by Julie Kagawa. This is the third book in the Shadow of the Fox series. Okay, lighting, cool. And this closed out the series, and y'all know I loved it. There were some, like, you know, there's pacing issues, obviously. If you look at how short the book is, and you know where the second book stops, you kind of expect a bigger book. But like I said, for me, this read, and I'm a very visual reader, like I can paint the picture in my mind very well. This played out like a fantastic anime. Like, anime is really good for, like, giving you a slow burn, a couple like flat episodes that don't even really matter to the story. And then they spend like 4 episodes like ripping your soul out. Like, for example, let's think of one, My Hero Academia, right? So I forgot which season, but the season where they ended up trying to arrest the people in the drug stronghold, and it was like 4 episodes, and we didn't even know what happened to Red Fury, and I was screaming because I thought they took Eraserhead. You know, those episodes, if you've watched, you know, that's kind of how this book does. Like, this book is those episodes, okay? And the way that this book ends is very satisfying. Like I said, I like when things close, but they're not this cookie cutter, everything is awesome kind of close. I guess that's the best way to put it. So this was my first Julie Kagawa series. Obviously, Shadow and the Fox was the first book I ever read by her. So I actually want to look into reading another one of her series, which I'll talk about in another video. Another surprising read of 2020 was Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Now, we all know I like Elizabeth Lim's writing, reflection, all that stuff. Her, great, cool. I went into Spin the Dawn because the way that they premise the story, they're like Mulan meets Fashion Runway or Project Runway. So with that kind of mindset, I was like, I don't really know. Possibly this could work. But then it was like, all right, I'll read it. It came in an Outcrate box, right? So the story, that's why I keep saying, like, I really need people to stop describing new stories by making them relatable to other stories, because Mulan meets Project Runway does not do this book justice at all. This book focuses on a young girl who pretends to be a boy so that she can be the emperor's tailor, because her family needs the money. Like, she wants to take care of her family, but she also wants to prove to herself that she's worth something. And so she ends up doing all of these challenges and stuff. and ends up like on a quest to basically save herself and her family. And I feel like that's a much better description than Mulan meets Project Runway. Because, I mean, there is a contest, and she does dress up like a boy. But it's not the same kind of circumstances. So it's a different type of mindset, in my opinion, with this book. But I did really enjoy the book. So, again, go read it. Obviously, I'm not a contemporary reader. Or I do dip into it time to time, but my main reads are fantasy and Afrofuturism and sci-fi, right? Like that's where y'all know me from. But it seems like every year that I've been doing these videos, Elizabeth Acevedo has always made a way onto my top reads of the year. And this year it was Clap When You Land. It is the story of two girls who are actually half sisters. They both lose their father on the flight from New York that was going to the Dominican Republic. That created such an uproar in the Dominican community in New York. But these are focused on two girls who didn't even know that each other existed until after their father died. And this book is written, it is written in verse, which again, I don't know. Like I went back I'm going to go back this year and I'm going to read her books, like read them without listening, because every year I buy her books and I buy the audiobook because they are read by her. And it's something about her voice that just brings so much life to her stories that I'm not sure if the book is truly this amazing or if I'm obsessed with her voice. I don't really know if there's a difference or if that matters. But the way that this book is written, I wanted more for both sisters. I felt like there was no right or wrong between these sisters. I wanted them both to be so much better. Like her dad, they daddy trash. Their daddy trash. I understood why the mom felt the way she did, and I understood why the daughters felt the way that they did. Also, there is LGBTQ representation in this book. I'm trying to get better at talking about all the different types of things that are represented in books, but a lot of the books that I've been reading, I felt like they didn't treat it like it was some kind of nuance. Hello, Editing Brittany here. I just wanted to come in and say nuance was not the word. I was saying that I felt like it was something completely normalized in the books. So sometimes I forget that it's not really normalized in regular life. Just wanted to make that correction because I didn't want it to be misunderstood. But yes, back to the wonderful video. So why should I is kind of like the thought process that I have with it. But yes, Elizabeth Acevedo, Clap When You Land. Another book that I enjoyed this year is The Silver Serpents by Roshani. I never say the name correctly, so we'll put it here. But this is the second book in the Gilded Wolves series, and I talked about this in a wrap-up video. I enjoyed this. I can't wait for the third book. The premise is that, let's see, how do I give a premise without destroying the first book? So without reading the first book, the premise takes place obviously after the story in book 1, where there is a rumor that there is a way for you to become a god that transcends the Tower of Babel. And to do that, they end up on a quest to find it, and everything breaks loose. There you go. That's how you give a plot to the second book of a series. I do recommend that you read The Gilded Wolves. As I stated, I had to read that book twice, and the second time made a lot more sense to me than the first time. I don't know why, but that's the first time I've reread a book and been like, huh. And then the second book in this series, I felt like it was a really good second book, because normally the second book in a series kind of just falls flat. But this one, though there was a lot of foreshadowing in this book to where I could guess what was going to happen on certain parts, but I still felt like it was good. And I would also like to see this as a movie. I should point that out. Also as a movie. Before I reveal the last book in my top reads of 2020, which I'm sure you can guess what it is, we have another giveaway rule. So as you can see, I'm currently wearing my Monster Smut sweatshirt, and this is something that we did over on Black Prose Club, which is the book club that I work with Oshale from Oshi Reads and Troy Nicole from the Bookish Wallflower and Inkfloor Studios. So we would like you to go ahead over to our YouTube channel, link in the description box, follow us, and comment on our last video. We know we haven't done a lot of videos in a while, but we will be coming back on the third Sunday of this month. So what you can do, well, actually, let's rephrase. So what you can do is go to that video, click the notification bell, and comment down below. And we're obviously going to make sure you're following. If you want that reading planner, that is the rule for today. The last book, obviously, was Legendborn. I've already gushed about Legendborn, so if you want to hear my thoughts, I just want to put it up there. But I do need to preface, because I asked a question in my little gush about Legendborn, about like what were the ages of Cell and Will, and according to a comment that I got, they said that Will and Cell were also young. So it's no longer creepy in my mind because they are also 17, 18 years old. So I feel a lot better. Though I can't front. The whole like 17, 18-year-olds in a bar makes total sense, to be honest, because if you've gone to college, you know you got to some places that you were underage to. So now that I have that squared out of the way, that helps my brain a little bit. Let's see. Oh, I did see another comment where they said that they would like to see more of Bree's life on campus. Would have liked to see Bree's life more on campus than like in the secret society. And I don't know how that would have helped the story, but I do hope in the next book that we see more of her connecting with her mother's craft. Granted, I don't know how that's going to happen with the way that the story ended, so we'll see. Me personally, what I hope to see in the second one is Bree mature. Because in this first book, she was a real 16-year-old girl getting on my nerves. So like, I would like to see how that progresses. I have other questions, but like I said, when that book comes out, I'll probably do a video of like what I hope to see, because I have thoughts. So yeah, that was the best books that I read in the year 2020. My question to you guys is, what was some of the books you read this year that you think that I would like to read that I have not read? Leave them down below in the description box, in the comment section. And until tomorrow, guys, bye.